And we're live. Hey, Dr. Mosley, thanks for joining me today.
Thanks, Dr. Robertson. What are we talking about today?
Today, we're going to talk about marketing strategy in hospitality.
I love a good strategy, that's for sure.
Me too. Me too. That's where it's all at. So, let's see. Just, first we'll start off with the big picture kind of idea of what is strategy. Um, Strategy is kind of your long-term plan. It's taking whatever resources you have and skills and looking in the environment and saying, this is how I'm going to deal with the world. I am going to be the price leader, or I am going to be the one who delivers exceptional quality, or, you're finding a way to make yourself the best way for you to do business.
Yeah.
And so, that's the big picture idea. So this is as opposed to tactics, which is like the short-term thing. So like strategy is, well, I'm going to be the lowest price leader. Well, a tactic would be something like, well, I'm going to offer 2 for 1. That's a specific way of accomplishing your strategy.
Well, I mean, we can look historically back at the pizza wars, the burger wars, the burrito wars. I mean, all these restaurants at some point or another, or even hotels, like they're gonna find their little competitive edge, and sometimes it's price. And McDonald's is a clear example of them starting off with the dollar menu and things like that.
Well, one good example, there's a restaurant that Taco Bell has done this twice. Taco Bell was the first one to come up with a value menu.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was their edge. Well, we're going to offer lower price point for people. That's going to be our strategy. And then the other one was fourth meal. Like, how are we, breakfast, lunch, and dinner are pretty well competed out. What's out there? How can we differentiate ourselves? Well, we'll be the midnight to 4 a.m. place.
Well, yeah, that's usually when I eat. All right.
Yeah. Okay, so we have what's called the strategy triangle. And basically, these are, this is the world we're working in. So there's this relationship between our competitors and ourselves, our competitors and our customers, ourselves and our customers, and all of these kind of affect one another.
Yeah.
And they're all kind of working in a larger environment. So if you look at this larger environment out that we have a technological environment, a political environment, social environment, economic, and ecological. And all those, again, are things that we have to react to. We can't dictate them. We can't change these larger forces, but we're affected by them. So the technological environment, the appearance of apps for doing everything.
Well, Uber Eats or Island Time, more local, or things like that. All of a sudden, restaurants that did not have the capability to reach their customers who didn't want to drive in for their stuff could suddenly have delivery options available out to them.
And as a restaurateur, you have to respond to this, because one of the problems with those services is that if a customer orders a food and the food's not bad, they leave a bad review. They don't leave a bad review for Island Time Takeout. They leave a bad review for your restaurant.
Yeah.
So it's because, Island Time, and I'm just using them as an example, took 2 hours to get your food to you. Now it's cold. You leave a bad review. It's for the restaurant.
Yeah. Yeah. When it's unfair to you. So, you have to make sure that you work with reputable suppliers. It sounds a little familiar to your sanitation class.
It does. And as a restaurateur also, if I'm going to have this option for takeout, well, I should design menu items that will hold up well for takeout, that aren't going to get soggy and go bad.
Not just the menu items, but the packaging
can
play a huge difference on whether or not all of a sudden your burger is good or it's completely just soggy.
Yeah. And the political environment, here we are in the time of Corona. It's like, oh, what do you mean now restaurants can carry out alcohol sales? It's like, that is a political change that a restaurant had. Alcohol sales, very profitable. If my competitors are doing it and I'm not, I'm losing out. And so, but that's affected by the politics. It was illegal a few months ago. It was completely illegal to do. Now it's standard.
Well, and now that door has been opened, you know, quite literally just kicked right open, the chances of that closing completely again,
Are just gone.
yeah, yeah.
The social environment, this is another thing, like changes in society that we deal with, such as more women in the workplace. Well, with more women in the workplace, this has caused hotels to change the way that they are built. That we know that it's pretty rare to have a hotel with doors on the outside, because women traveling alone, they're not going to feel real secure going to the unlit parking lot at the back to go to their room. They're going to want to go through a lit lobby to get to their room where they feel safer. And so just the fact that there are more women in the workplace, that affects, we have to respond to that.
Yeah.
The economic environment, if we're in if we're in good economic times or hard economic times, all these things have an effect on the way business will operate. And the ecological environment, what's going on, are we preserving our environment so that there's opportunity for the next generation to use it? Are we using up the resources? Or is there going to be some sort of change required of the way that we use these resources?
Mm-hmm.
So all these things affect us. And then within that, we have our relationship, like I said, between us and our competitors and our customers. And, between our competitors, what we're trying to do is we're trying to be different. Why should you spend money with me and not with them? So like if I am Wendy's, my competitors are primarily Burger King and McDonald's, to a lesser extent Five Guys. So, but with McDonald's and Burger King, how does Wendy's
differentiate themselves?
Yeah,
well,
pardon me.
I mean, it's they try to do it with fresh beef and a square patty, right?
Yeah.
It's a little different. They
Fresh
had the baconator. Yeah. Nobody else does, right? So, and they used to have a salad bar too back in the day, but they try to find their niche. And now they're realizing that they were missing out on a good segment of the population that wants breakfast as well.
Right.
So what does Wendy's do? They responded about 30 years late, but they responded, right? And now they have breakfast, right? So that kind of helps. The more you can keep yourself in the mind of the customer and not give them options or chances to try somebody else, the better off you are.
Right. Yeah. Keeping an existing customer is the way to do it. So we're always trying to find ways to make ourselves different from our competitors. Why you get more value for us for whatever reason, because we're trying to offer value. Our competitors are trying to offer value. Yeah. We have our target segment. So this is the ones that we particularly seek out, that we think we're a good match for, that we can provide the services or goods they want. And then there are other market segments out there too that may consume our product. The target, those are the ones that we really think we have a good match for and that we go after.
Yeah, if we're open for lunch, we want to make sure that, especially if we're not, fine dining or any place where they're having a meeting, that we get them in and out as quickly as possible. Yeah. Right.
So some different types of planning, or talking about marketing here specifically, strategic versus functional. So strategic is the long-term plan. What's our goal? Who are we going to be? What are we looking forward to? Functional is the short term. How do we put our strategy into practice? Mm-hmm. So, looking at strategic, we're looking long range. We are looking at how are we going to use all of our resources most efficiently. It tends to not be as formalized, because the reality is, in these long-term plans, things change. That I can plan pretty good for what I'm going to do tomorrow. And I can plan okay for what I'm going to do a year from now.
But let's face it, everybody in 2015 did not have the plans for 2020 coming out this way. So,
well, what about this, Matt? When you decided to go after your PhD, short term, you're like, well, I've got to move. And so that you probably moved on the date you were planning to, and you probably started on the date you were planning to. But was your end date did that match your initial planning?
Not even close.
Yeah.
It didn't match my functional planning either. Yeah. So, You know, and that's a great point. Life happens. Things change. So nobody expected 2020 to be the way it was. Well, guess what? They modified, right? So all of a sudden, the strategic plan is still there for like 2025, right?
It's our
They got a goal.
long-term, this is our long-term idea of where we're going.
Yeah. Now, though, they're in functional mode. How
Yeah,
do we functionally get through the year
right.
without making it a complete loss?
So strategic, again, is big issues, and the senior level manager, like the CEO, they make strategic plans. Now, functional, here we're looking at a year. And so this would be something like a marketing program. This is, oh, we're going to run this ad campaign through these channels this year with this message.
Yeah.
And we're looking at short-term things. I have my budget's $1 million. Where can I spend it? Well, if I spend $500,000 here, then that means I can't do this other thing. So, it's very much about the short-term trade-offs. It's more structured because it's easier to understand what I'm going to do in a year, within a year than it is like looking 10 years out. It can be reactive in that like you said, 2020, I am reacting to the things that are happening now.
Yeah.
If I don't, if I just continue with my long-term plan, that's great until I go out of business. But like right now, there are some specific issues that have to be addressed. Oh, we need to close the dining room. Oh, we need to go to more carryout. Oh, we need, we have to make these changes. And so again, functional also deals with specific things like that.
And it's not just negatives here,
No,
right? You could have a brand new entertainment center open up next to your restaurant, and it might alter your consumer behavior. Where before you might not have been so busy at 9 or 10, but if a program gets out at that time and you're open and you're staffed, right? That's something that, I mean, all of a sudden something new happens, right? You have to react.
Yeah.
Long term, you didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
But,
and this is done by the operating managers, like the location manager, or the person who's responsible for day-to-day scheduling. They're the ones who are having to come up with these functional planning solutions. So this is kind of opposed like the corporate idea. So here, this is a flow chart for the organization of a large corporation. So it could be something like, say, Marriott. So up where it says corporate headquarters, this would be Marriott World. And so we have these 3 business units here. We have travel services, lodging, and real estate. Well, travel services, this is Marriott's travel agency. Then the business unit 2, this is Marriott Lodging. And then 3, that's going to be Marriott Real Estate. And Marriott operates all of these companies. And they all operate under the same umbrella, but you have to kind of adopt different ways. They're different businesses, so you have to adopt different ways of different plans for them, as long as they all kind of work together. Then below that, each of these companies will have a marketing wing to help them. They'll have operations about how they're going to run day-to-day, human resources from filling positions, and accounting. Yeah. Then down at the unit level, where we're also doing planning, this would be like individual hotels.
Exactly. Or even in Marriott's thing, I don't know how many people realize, but they have food service,
Yeah.
I mean, so it's just that individual location. And sometimes it might even be broken down further where the unit level is a region, then it's broken down to other,
sub-regions. And
yeah, it can get complicated.
So one thing you want to remember up here, the strategic business unit often gets abbreviated as SBU. And one way to think of this is essentially these are businesses under the larger umbrella. They're under normal circumstances are big enough to be their own business. So if you think of General Motors, for instance, as the corporation, their strategic business units are Chevrolet, Cadillac, GMC, Buick. These are companies that are big enough. They have their own marketing arm. They have their own human resources. They have their own accounting. They're separate businesses, but they're part of a larger business. So as I'm talking about this idea of SBUs or strategic business units, one of the things we do with strategic business units is we'll do what's called a portfolio analysis. What role does this organization play? Yeah. And if you'll forgive me, I'll probably continue to use General Motors as an example because it's an easy one to understand. So what does Cadillac bring to General Motors? Well, that's high-end and expensive. What does Chevrolet bring to it? Well, that's entry level plus sporting. Well, what does Buick bring to it? Well, that's traditional
comfort. I mean, really, I mean, that was
upper
Buick.
middle class.
Yeah.
What does GMC bring to it? Well, trucks. And so, each of these, there's a little bit of overlap, but basically, what do each of these offer? And so General Motors used to have more SBUs. They used to have Pontiac, which was their sporting division. But as, other brands kind of took that over, they lost their identity. So like, it makes no sense to operate this separate brand anymore.
Yeah, they no longer had that differentiation.
No.
So it was pretty much what happened in the early 2000s with like Applebee's and Chili's and all them. It's very hard to differentiate them. So some of them went away.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So that's the portfolio analysis is you look at the businesses under your umbrella and say, hey, do we need them? What do they offer? Another way to think about this is something like dishwashing detergent when you go in the grocery store. You've got Joy, you've got Dawn, you've got all the different brands up there. And each, like Joy is gentle on your hands, and Dawn is the grease cutter. And what's funny is they're all made by Procter & Gamble, but they're separate companies under that umbrella. Below that, we have the SWOT analysis, strengths and weaknesses, opportunities and threats. And we'll talk about that in more detail, but basically figuring out where should I spend my resources? What should I concentrate my business on? So one of the things under there was the mission statement.
Well, and that feeds into everything else. As you could see on that flow chart before, is that the mission statement was first, and that really impacted everything else. So with GM, their mission statement just got blurry, and that's why Pontiac went away.
Yeah. So here's Hilton's mission statement. Hilton Hotels Corporation is recognized internationally as a preeminent hospitality company. Among our 250 hotels are some of the most well-known properties to be found anywhere, including the Waldorf Astoria, the Hilton Hawaiian Village, and Palmer House Hilton. Our hotels offer guests and customers the finest accommodations and amenities for business or leisure. For 80 years, the Hilton brand has been synonymous with excellence in the hospitality industry. Actually, I don't think that's a very good mission statement.
Yeah.
And reading over, it's like, what is the purpose of their business?
Yeah.
And is it something that is distinct? And our hotels offer our guests and customers the finest accommodations and amenities in business or leisure. Actually, that would be a pretty good mission statement if that was it. The rest of it,
it's just kind of extra fluff in there.
But the whole, what the mission statement is it's your reason for existence. This is the business we're in. This is why we are here. So another way of looking at allocation of resources. So let's say that you have a large corporation, you're trying to figure out where should I use my money? Which SBU should I put my money into? So if you're General Motors, you're trying to figure out what to do with your resources, because none of us have unlimited resources. And so we're trying to figure out the best use of our resources.
Yeah, what gives us our most bang for our buck here?
Yeah. So this
so like the cash cow on the bottom, right? There's very low growth, but it's just bringing in some money, right?
Yeah. So and first to explain what the matrix here is, across the top we have market share. So either we control a lot of the market or not much. Then on the side we have growth. Is this a market that is growing, or is it one that is stable or shrinking?
Yeah.
And so then we look at where the businesses fall within, or products fall within these four quadrants.
Yeah.
It helps us decide. So go ahead when you were talking about the cash cow.
Like a cash cow, you're not building up. You're not getting building your market share. You're building new locations that much, but it's bringing in the cash, right? Your workhorse, which is the top right, it has a low market share, but that thing is just growing, right? So it's going to be something that you're going to keep an eye on. Your star is just, it's got high market share, it's got high growth. It's just
This is
booming, right? And you're
this is
trying to keep that way.
it is the future because it's
Hmm.
growing and you're good at it. You have high market share, so you should concentrate on this. This makes money for you. This is where the future is. You should concentrate here. The workhorse, maybe it's not. It's you don't have a lot of market share, but man, that market is getting bigger, and if you can get part of it, that's
Yeah.
going to carry you. The cash
Yeah.
cow, you don't have a huge amount of growth, but you control that market, man. There's not much competition. So you're just making money. And so you use that money to finance other parts of your business
Hmm.
to help them grow. And then if you have a product or a unit that is in a low growth area
Yeah.
and low market share, so both it's not growing and you're not good at it, cut it loose, man. That's wasted resources.
Well, and it's, if you've ever taken menu engineering, you've learned about this stuff a lot too.
Yeah,
Sometimes though, it may have low and it may be low, and you have to keep it. And the reason would be is it's an iconic product
sure.
that you are expected to have. No matter what, you got to have this. So, sorry. I mean, not everything's 100% gun dry, but yeah, for the most part,
Like you gotta
86.
have a Molly Brown on the menu.
Yeah, yeah. Or I mean, McDonald's. There's a reason why the McRib isn't on year round, because nobody wants it. You create demand by having absence.
Yeah. They have a small core of people that want it, but once they get their fill of it, that's
Yeah.
the.
If it was on the menu the whole time, those people wouldn't care about it ever. So.
Another way of looking at your business is you look at it in comparative what you're good at, your business strength, and then how attractive the market is. Again, so this is based on a number of criteria. So when we're looking at business strength, we look at size and how much of the market we control, how big the market is, how much profit do we make? Is this a super profitable area? And
Yeah.
if it is, well, that's worth going after. Some businesses are more profitable than others, just by the nature of who their customer is.
And if you line up this model with the BCG, it's going to be the exact same. Your top left is your star.
Yeah.
Right? The top right is going to be your workhorse. You're going to hold place, right? And it might be a little bit build grow. The bottom left is your cash cow, and the bottom right is your dog.
Yeah. So again, we're looking at what we're good at, how flexible the marketing effectiveness, the criteria on the market attractiveness. Again, how big the market is it growing? So again, there you have that BCG matrix. How competitive is it? Again, profitability, and all those things. We were talking about those forces in the environment out there that we don't control, the social, environmental, technological, political things.
Mm-hmm.
All those can play into market attractiveness. So those that have high attractiveness and things you're good at, you grow those. And those that you're not good at, that don't have, aren't very attractive, or you're not strong in those areas, you get rid of them. And the others, the ones in the middle, basically you hold on to them and you use them to make money to finance the other parts of your business that'll grow.
Yeah, like it says, you milk it, right? You get every last drop out of it.
And a good example of this, going back to the one of a cash cow, of a low growth but high profitability, was Ford produced the Crown Victoria for years and years and years. And in the last 5 or 6 years of its life, they did not even sell them to the public. But it was the last traditional American car with a big V8 and a separate frame. And so that was very attractive to taxi cabs, limousines, and police officers. And so they sold fleet cars to those markets because there was no other competitor. And it's just, they continue to make money year after year. They didn't put any money into developing them, no new technology going into it, and just sold them as long as it was profitable.
Which is probably why the Charger is taken over as the preferred cop car.
Yeah, and so it was a cash cow.
Yeah. But even when you have a cash cow, you need to sit there and you need to be mindful of what's coming out and how
Yeah.
it's going to be used. So as soon as the Chargers started building momentum and cop police stations started to switch over, it's already too late.
And it's funny, I don't know why they don't call this a SWOT analysis, but this is pretty much a SWOT analysis.
Yeah.
Because here we have the internal and external items. We have the internal strengths and the internal weaknesses. We have the external threats and the external opportunities. This is a SWOT analysis. And we're trying to figure out, again, how, depending on how we look at our business, where should we focus our effort? So environmental opportunities, what's going on out in the world that might affect us. Suddenly, that we're going to have the prices are dropping because fewer people are buying the product. Well, that's an opportunity. We can't control it if our suppliers' prices go down, but we can take advantage of it.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's something we can do. And then there are also environmental threats. Maybe there's a new law coming in onto the books saying that we're going to have to pay all of our servers are going to have to get conventional minimum wage instead of server minimum wage. Well, we have to respond to that. Then internal, we have things that we're good at, and we have things that we may not be good at. So if we have something where there's good opportunity and we're good at it, we should aggressively go after that. The thing that we're best at that's most likely to make money, go after it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I mean, it makes sense. You're not going to go after the thing that has very little potential to grow. You're not good at all. If you're not good at something, there's no need in straying away from your comfort zone at that point.
That's when we start doing things like
making pizza at McDonald's.
Yeah, we farm it out. What is it?
Well, yeah.
I'm drawing a blank here. You have
outsource.
You outsource. Thank you.
It's all right. Who could tell that it's late in our day already?
Yeah. So SBUs, those strategic business units under a large umbrella, can also have separate missions. So if you think about Carlson is part of a larger company, but the Carlson brand is going to be the upscale, whereas they probably have something like Choice Hotels that's going to be the entry level. And so they have separate, different missions.
Well, yeah, exactly. Even under Hilton, you're going to have the Hilton Garden Inn is going to have a different mission than the Conrad.
Yeah. So now we're going to talk about strategies, and we're going to talk about some generic strategies, like just how we're going to approach a market. And the big ones are differentiation and cost leadership, or differentiation and focus, or cost focus. And so what we've got at the top, you'll see there's competitive advantage. Are we going to do something that is unique? Or are we going to do something that's low cost? So that's pretty much your options. We can either do something that's special that people are going to pay for, or we can be the cheap option. And those are either you're like everybody else and you charge what everybody else charges, or you do something different and you can charge extra. But you have to pick. And then are we going after everybody in the market, or are we going after a particular target? So here at the top, the differentiation, we have Wendy's. Wendy's is a little more expensive than McDonald's and Burger King, but what they did is, well, we're a little more expensive, but we only use fresh beef. We're not going to be frozen, and people are going to be willing to pay extra for those made-to-order fresh hamburgers. So they've differentiated themselves from everyone else. Everyone else, go to the other side, the industry-wide target, but low cost, that's McDonald's. What McDonald's says, we're going to offer the product, but we're going to offer it very affordably. And so that will be our advantage. We're going to do it cheap. We're bigger than everyone else. We can take advantage of economies of scale. We'll do it cheaper. Yeah. Down at the bottom, we can look at our focus. Instead of appealing to everyone, we're going to find that market that will make us money. So the Four Seasons They're unique. They're a hotel. They're high luxury, but they're going after a very specific segment. They're going after people who want fancy hotels.
Yeah, they're not going after the same people that Motel 6 is going after, and vice versa.
Which Motel 6 is also going after a very specific target. They're not going after the average customer. They're going after the customer that's looking for a basic accommodation as cheap as possible.
Yep. They're counting on a lot of walk-in traffic.
Yeah. So these are generic strategies, generic ways to approach your business. Then there are what are called grand strategies. And these are kind of, in businesses also you'll do these. So it's do I come up with a new product or service, or do I use an existing one? Do I go after a new market or my existing market? So we'll go through these. So the existing products to an existing market. This is market penetration. I need to sell more to the people who buy it already. So one company that's done this is not Hellman's, Miracle Whip. Yeah. What's wrong with Miracle Whip, Matt?
Anything mayo related, just.
Well, that's the thing. Miracle Whip's not even mayo, is it?
I don't care.
Yeah.
It's
salad dressing. It's sweeter than mayonnaise.
Well,
now, the thing is, what Miracle Whip found out is that it's very hard to convert a mayonnaise user to Miracle Whip. But what Miracle Whip did figure out is they could get existing customers to buy more. And so what they did was they created cookbooks and things, and then customers would buy more. So they're going deeper into that market. My favorite example of market penetration, like selling an existing product to an existing market, is baking soda, Arm & Hammer. Arm & Hammer is I think this is the greatest marketing success ever.
Oh, genius level. I mean, they're playing an Xbox X already.
Yeah.
And we're playing the 360.
Yeah. So what they did was, people use baking soda for making biscuits, cookies, and shortbreads. And so everybody in the world that wants a box of baking soda has one in their cabinet. Mm-hmm. And so, the guys at Arm & Hammer are sitting around, how can we sell more? And it's like, well, how can we get people to buy more boxes? And I'm sure some guys sitting there say, wait a minute, what if we tell people it absorbs odors? And I guarantee, Matt, do you have a box of baking soda at your house?
I do have a box in my fridge. Yes,
in your fridge, why?
Because it absorbs odors.
Well, there you go. So what Arm & Hammer did was they created a 100% increase in sales. They doubled their sales because now everybody has one in their cabinet for cooking, one in their fridge for absorbing odors. That's market penetration.
Well, not just that, it's more than 100% increase because they put down, well, this is good for 3 months.
Yeah.
When was the last time you actually went through a whole box of baking soda?
Okay, I'm the wrong person to ask because I am.
Yes, you are.
I'm a chef. My wife is a chef. Both my kids cook.
Yeah. I mean, I use a lot of baking powder.
Yeah.
Baking soda, not as much. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So the other one, product development. I'm going to develop a new product or service for an existing market. So I already sell this product. So I'm going to, so Tide, for instance, they sell a lot of
pods.
Huh?
The pods.
Yeah.
The Tide pods.
But how about this? What if we, we'll develop a new product for the existing market. So we'll do Tide pods, Tide powder, Tide liquid.
Tide stick.
Now, I have a question for you. Is that a new product in a new market? Is that a different market?
Well, what it is, it's an old product put into a new delivery system.
Yeah.
That's what this is. So it is a new product because it's a whole different delivery system than what they had before.
Is it a new market? Is it like the people who use Tide sticks different from the people who wash clothes?
Sometimes. So the market there is for people who want to, I don't know anybody who actually, spills food on themselves at work, but that's what it's mainly for. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, that's what I was going to say. that people at home buy Tide, guys with it. Oh, we both have a tube of this at our desk. You know, so I think that's a different market. You know, this is a business market. So
Yeah,
this
it's like, oh crap, you know. Just I mean, I would just ate my chili and I got lucky. Okay,
this is
so.
diversification,
Mm-hmm.
and then an existing product in a new market. A great example of this is Nintendo. So after the Wii came out, they sold all the Wiis. Every kid in the world has a Wii. What can we sell? Who can we sell it to?
Senior citizens.
Senior citizens. It's a low impact form of exercise. So that's an existing product in a new market.
Well, yeah, just looking at it and going, wait, how else can we market this?
Yeah, who else needs it?
Yeah.
We sell it to. So these are the grand strategies you can use. And you want to do this because what you don't want to do is you don't want to fight head on with a strong competitor. You want to offer something they don't offer to someone they don't offer it to. That's the best. That's the best way to do it. So now we'll talk about positioning a little bit. So the positioning is like defining yourself in the market compared to everyone else. So positioning is like Matt, if I were to ask you what's Mountain Dew? Like what does Mountain Dew have to offer? How are they different than any other soft drink?
You know, honestly, they're not much different. Mountain Dew in a can, on the other hand, wonderful product, but it's, I don't know, it's just a soda.
Who does Mountain Dew appeal to? Like who do they go after?
Honestly, it's all like, it's the 13 to 25-year-old males that they really market towards.
But, and they kind of try and have that. I don't know if edgy is the right term.
No, I mean that's what they're going for. It's bro commercials. I don't know a better way of describing it.
But here, I want to show you. I'll show you the first Mountain Dew commercial.
Okay.
How the sound works.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton.
Yahoo! Mountain Dew! Oh, beautiful sound was a stone-hearted gal, refusing to bill or to coo. But Clem was right smart. He appealed to her heart with that gal getting good old Mountain Dew.
So,
Mountain Dew! Mountain Dew will tickle your innards cause there's a bang in every bottle. At the county turkey shoot, cause Luke warn't worth a hoot. He was hopeless till he finally took the cue. Yahoo! Mountain Dew! Now he shoots off the cuff. It's more than enough as you're nipping at that good old Mountain Dew. Sure as shooting, there's a bang in every bottle of our delicious soft drink, Mountain Dew. It'll tickle your innards.
So,
okay, play the Kenny Powers one.
All right, this is a big moment, okay? It's very emotional, so there could be tears. Get my good side. Junior! What's up, what's up, what's up? Do I know you? Dewey Ryder, guys. I'm Dewey Ryder. I know this is probably super bittersweet for you, but I brought my camera crew here in the hopes that we could capture a little passing of the torch moment here between you and I. Oh, nobody told you? No. Oh, this is awkward. I'm the new you. I'm the guy that Mountain Dew's been looking for. You know, I'm going to be driving race cars super fast in circles, hobnobbing, endorsementing, riding wild Mountain Dew all the time.
In that?
Yeah, yeah.
Nobody races in shorts.
Well, Dewey Ryder races in shorts because Dewey Ryder does not like to get super sweaty. These are ladies' stockings, but they also work as men's sleeves.
Doesn't give you a lot of fire protection.
Who's catching on fire? Not me. Ooh, what's this? A blade to keep nerds from sleeping on the back of the car? Ew, gross. We're going to have to replace these shoes stat because these things are super bald. So that's not going to work.
Brand new, probably.
All right, so driver to driver, what are we thinking here? Can you get this thing up to 60 mphs?
Actually, they run about 205, 210. So when you mash the gas, man, it make it go.
Mash the gas.
Mash the gas, you make it go.
I'm going to mash the gas tonight. So where's the trunk space? Like, where do you put your luggage and all the things
You
that you
don't
might need?
carry
for the race?
luggage in a race car. Where are you going?
I don't know. You never know what's going to happen. I like to be prepared. What's this right here? Is this the one that makes you go turbo fast?
No, stop it.
That one?
No.
Which one does the like oil slicks so that the bad guys spin out behind you?
Have you ever drove a race car before?
Well, I mean, technically I haven't, but I have a stunt double. Leon, my man! This guy's very impressive. Very good. Why don't you go ahead and pop a backflip? See? I did that.
How's that going to help you on the track?
I'll see. Hey, buddy, I'm going to go ahead and need those keys now.
There's no keys to the stock car.
Oh, keyless entry. Okay, impressive. Well, we'll go ahead and keep that feature because I like that. I always lose my keys. Take this. I got it. It's okay. Let go. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. You just go on. Just go ahead and clear frame.
Exit frame, Dale.
Is he crying?
No, he's not crying.
Just go in closer. Are you sure he's not crying?
Or you poke him in the eye.
Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up. All the way up. I'm all the way up.
This is weird.
You know,
All the way
honestly,
up.
So over time, Mountain Dew has changed their positioning of who they're going after and where they fit into the market.
mhm.
When Mountain Dew first came out, they were more or less a mixer for liquor.
Mm.
And now, that's not even part of the equation really about how they position
You
themselves.
never hear, let's get a vodka and do.
No, it's just not part of what they do.
I don't know.
So it's like-
Honestly, like that was embarrassing. I don't know. It's just, I get who they're trying to go after, but it's just kind of like, come on, man, dude. Where's the broader appeal here, right?
So, think about the difference between a Four Seasons hotel
Mm-hmm.
and a Quality Inn. They're both
Yeah.
hotels, they're both beds, they're both clean bathrooms, they're both televisions, but they occupy different spaces in the marketplace.
Yeah.
And it's just different, and they're going after different parts of the market. They position themselves differently.
Yeah.
And so occasionally brands have to reposition. And so this is, Mountain Dew has done this many times, that our existing marketing, our existing idea, maybe that's not where the customer thinks of us in the market anymore, or there are other options out there. So we need to reinvent ourselves as something different, and try it and carve out a new niche in the market.
Well, yeah, and and sometimes it just depends on even just regional. So anyways, let's not get into that. Sorry.
Well, here's one that you might think about repositioning.
Yeah.
So it used to be that if you wanted to buy music, you bought it on vinyl. So vinyl was the only way to get music. And then there are 8-tracks, reel-to-reels, cassette
tapes,
CD, streaming, and all that. But wait, vinyl's made a comeback. But is vinyl now sold as the way that every 13-year-old gets music?
No, it's not even. I mean, okay, vinyl sales have outdone CD sales for the first time in like 20 years or something crazy. But it still will never outdo live streaming listens and the digital era that we're entering into.
But it's no longer the default. It's no longer the simple way that every 13-year-old gets music, is it?
No.
Who is the market now for vinyl? How do they position themselves?
I hate to say it, but hipsters and old guys.
Yeah, and largely as collectibles.
Yeah.
Even more than music necessarily, maybe as collectibles.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So sorry.
No, but that's a great point. I mean, the music industry saw that physical sales were going down, so they helped usher it back in, and they embraced it. They saw that there was a subset of the market who wanted to have this stuff.
Yeah.
So
here, just looking at this chart, we've got over here on the far left, the customer analysis. We look and examine who our customers are and who we're going to sell to. Corporate objectives. What is our goal? And like those objectives can be wildly different, because it could be, my goal is I want to have the largest revenue, or I want to make the largest profit, or I want to have the most total sales in units. And those are all different goals, and the way you reach them are slightly different. Competitive analysis, we have to look and see what our competition is doing. And then after the customer analysis, we divide the market into segments that we think we can service and make money from. We look at what our corporation can do. And we try then down here with the competitive analysis, how do we differentiate ourselves from our competitors?
Yeah.
Then we pick our target market. We try and find the market that's going to be most successful for us. We put together a package that will appeal to that market, and that's our position. This is who we're going after and what we offer them. And then once we have that, then we start putting together our marketing. Oh, this is what we're going to sell them. This is how much it's going to go for. This is how they're going to be able to access it. And this is how we're going to make them aware of it. But that depends on all these other things. You don't just start doing the 4 Ps right off the bat. You kind of have to understand all these steps that lead up to it.
Yeah, you can't put the cart before the horse.
And so the last thing here is the positioning statement. And so this is how we're different. This is where we're going to sit in the market. Like other people are offering, so Carnival Cruise Lines, when they got into the business, they were trying to find a way to differentiate themselves. And so they became known as the party boat. That the cruise industry was mostly for older people, retirees, but Carnival came along and said, you know what, we're going to sell parties to young people on spring break. And we're going to be different than everyone else. That's our market. Because the old, the retirees, they're going to want to go on the calm, quiet boats. But if you're a young person, you're looking for an affordable vacation, we're going to be that option. And so they had positioned themselves differently in the market. They differentiated themselves. Communicate the benefits. I need to put together marketing that lets my customers know this is what I am. So again, Carnival Cruise Lines, they have the ads of young people doing zip lining and doing the wave pools and all the things that the boat has to offer. And they make it visual for you, and that it's for your demographic. It's not going to be for retirees. It's not going to be full of kids running around. It's going to be, they show you what it's going to be like, and that creates their image. It's like I said, they were known as the party boat.
Yeah. Well, and here's something that might help the students think about this. As they're becoming juniors and seniors and they're starting to look into life after college.
Yeah.
What have you been doing to differentiate yourself from every other person out there searching for the same job?
Right.
Has it been that you've been getting a diverse work background while you're going to school? You did a unique internship.
Can you speak
whatever it is?
Language?
Yeah, can you speak more than one language? Because I can tell you right now, knowing Spanish is going to help you out a lot, right?
Yeah. Did you work in the college IT department? And do you have IT skills? Yeah, you have a degree in hospitality, but you also have IT skills.
Now, yeah, and you did all this stuff. Now, did you properly communicate this, right?
Yeah. How would you communicate that to an employer?
Well, I mean, the thing that every employer looks at is going to be your resume, right? Or your cover letter, depending on what it is, right? How do you translate what you've done to a point that's going to get them interested enough to interview you to where you can talk about it more in depth, right?
Yeah.
So you're going to be doing this. I hate to say it, but LinkedIn is still a thing. People are going to check out your page, whether you like it or not. They're going to take a look at that, right?
On LinkedIn, you want to create an image.
Yes, and it's not going to be the same image that you're going to have for Instagram or TikTok or any of those other platforms that you're using.
This is going to present you as a young, trained,
professional.
Yeah, professional who's really into what you're doing. And
yeah, if you're using some kind of filter that's giving you dog ears and stuff, and it's on your LinkedIn, unless you're going to try to work for I don't know, Disney or Chuck E. Cheese, it's not really going to work in your benefit, right? So you got to create this image. you're going to build your contacts on there.
Yeah.
Right. So because they're going to look and see who else you know, and
Yeah.
it's just on a more personal level for you. Think about some of this stuff and how you are marketing yourself.
Yeah.
Right. Anyways, thank you so much, Dr. Robertson. I appreciate
Thanks for your help, Matt. And I hope everybody enjoyed this lecture.
Yeah. Sorry if I was too boring.